And now we're up for module 17F. Let's see what we're going to talk about now. We're still in board types and ownership and engagement. That's what we're going to focus on this time around. So we'll have some good discussions about this. How do you get people to actually use the boards? First, if you let team members help design the board, and if you let team members help select the key metrics and the key performance indicators, they're much more likely to say, hey, this works for me. But you actually have to listen and you have to let them actually do this. Don't forget, at tier 2, uh, the team members at tier 2 are the team leaders from tier 1, but they're still a team. And that tier 2 leader is the team leader then. At tier 3, those tier 2 supervisors become the team members for that tier 3 team. And at all the tiers, we're going to define specific huddle roles for people. We'll get into huddles in that next section. What else do we need to do here? We want to be able to create a strong sense of identity at both the team and the organizational level. Now, why is this important? Identity has been linked to job satisfaction. People report higher levels of satisfaction when they feel like they belong to something that they're proud of. When they have a strong identity with a team of people or with a particular organization with a strong brand and a great reputation for taking care of things. Team names and banners and mottos and all things like flags, whatever else builds that identity. So let people pick those team names, encourage them to pick those team names, require them to pick a team name their team, create some kind of identifying banner or flag or sigil or motto or words, some powerful slogan, and then reinforce that every day, because that is what builds that sense of identity. And then let team members customize the board to reflect their own preferences. I got some pictures of that in a minute. Require team members to interact with the board in some way every single day. And I'll show you a simple way to do that. And then rotate team members through various team roles very frequently, because we want to use this as a developmental opportunity. When I say frequently, I mean every week or every 2 weeks, no longer than 2 weeks. People stay in a role for no longer than 2 weeks. They've got to learn other things, and you got to repeat enough so that you get to build those skills. So you could begin with a standard layout like this. This is one that has people, quality, service, and cost with continuous improvement there in the middle. I've seen 100 different layouts of these, but this kind of provides the standard framework for anywhere in the organization. We're going to start with this so that as people walk through, they can glance up and they can see exactly what the status is wherever they are just by looking at a single piece of the board. It is targeting the people who actually work there. So they should be able to glance up and see at a glance where they stand at any given time during the day. It might look like one of these. These are both different templates that people use for different boards. There's a huddle board at tier 1. That is a tier 1 team thing too. It depends on the metrics. One thing I encourage people to do is if you can't make your chart big enough to see, make sure that there's a quick reference indicator. I'll show you what that looks like in a little bit. These are also models for a tier 1. This is a set of kiosks for one particular client. They used, because they didn't have wall space, they put their information on these keyboards. Worked great. You might start with some ideas about the data that you want to display. So here's a client that just used paper, and that's a great thing to start. We don't know exactly what we're going to put, but here's some different things that we can think about. They've got an attendance chart up there. They've got a calendar, and then they want their production schedule on there. And then they've got the C4 stages down below, because they want to get their ideas and problems reported on their C4 cards, as you can see, and they want to move that through as a flow board. Work with paper placeholders and tape as long as you can. Don't go out and buy a bunch of stuff, because it's going to take a dozen iterations at least to get these things working for you and your people the way we want them to work. This is what ownership looks like. Okay, it follows the standard format. So in this case, it's got people, and it's got quality, and it's got service, and it's got continuous improvement, and it's got cost. You can see those labels here, but they've got some personalized stuff here. They got fancy little name tags over here. And another example is here, where this is the earlier one we saw. These guys are obviously sports fans, so they put that on their team. Anything that makes people feel like it's their board, you want to encourage that. Even if it involves glitter, okay? If people want to use glitter on their board, go for it. It does make a little bit of a mess, but it let them make it their own board. That way they'll keep it up to date. Here's another example. So they use big descriptors and then a couple of different key metrics. So people, quality, service, cost, continuous improvement in the middle. So they followed the rules. It's just a little bit personalized. That personalization goes a long way to making people feel like this is their board, not yours. Next up, we'll talk about actually doing huddles.